hurt.
No, I think she is.
Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there.
Okay.
Gosh, I hope she's okay.
Come on, Frank. She was not okay. She's never okay. The Grape Lady brings you into another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Hashtag DPD on all of your platforms. Pucksports.com, YouTube. Please subscribe and like and leave a comment below. I try to answer as many as I can. Thank you for all watching. And, of course, listening on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. It is Monday, April 29th. It is the DPD. I've got an old school reporter's notebook, like I'm some type of hardcore scribe. What do we got today on the Daily Puck Drop, the DPD? NFL Draft Recap. Mariners finish up their series with the D-backs. They continue to win games by not hitting, which is amazing. And that just tells you just how great their pitching is. We'll get into that. Braves, Jarred Kelenic's back. What is his reception going to be? The NBA, real quickly, my favorite player in the NBA is just killing it. Anthony Edwards, we'll talk about that one. The 10-year-old, the Vampires, getting into something that it brings a little bit of a tear to me. And a question for the audience. It involves cats. Well, we'll get to that at the very end here on the DPD. If you're just joining us, we go 25, 30 minutes just getting you caught up on the top stories of the day, recapping what was a busy weekend, of course, with the NFL draft and all that. And then, of course, we just set the plate and for all of the news and events for later in the day. Of course, it's Monday, so episodes with Jim Duquette, brought to you by Flat Stick Pub, and Bill Kruger, brought to you by Rise Above Foundation. Those guys will drop today at 1 o'clock. We'll talk all things baseball with those guys. Also, dropping today as you are watching and listening to this, because we do the DPD at 10 a.m. Every single day, Monday through Friday. Brennan Jackson, former Washington State defensive end, who was drafted by the Rams this past weekend in the 5th round, 154th overall. I caught up with Brennan on Sunday. We sat down. Great chat. He is, just please check it out. You don't have to be a Coug fan to love this. It's just an audio version of it. I mean, there will be video up there, but we just had to tape it on the phone. He is everything that you want, not only just in a person. Just not a football player, employee, whatever. Just a person. I think you're going to come away from that about 15, 17-minute chat with him, which is, again, up on all these platforms. He's just remarkable. Just raised right, great young man, just the college experience, and now he's off to the pros, and he's going to be a damn good pro. He's going to be in the league for a very long time because he has a want to, and he has a motor, and he doesn't stop. All right, speaking of the NFL draft, what's your grade? Give your grade for the Seahawks. I love everyone has a grade, and it has varied all over the place for the Seahawks, right? I've seen anywhere from A, I think the lowest I saw was like a C+. I have zero clue. I'm not giving a grade. Actually, I will. Because these were the grades I did like when you were in mostly college. Pass or fail. I'll give them a pass. Who knows what it's going to be? I mean, and I know why they do it, and they're fun to look at. They sucker me in every time because I look at them. I read Danny Kelly's breakdown of it. I love Danny. I love Danny to death. We'll try to get him on this week at some point. I think he gave him a B. Okay, fine. I'm good with B's. I was a B student, so the fact that I'd seen the Seahawks got a B, I'm all good with it. We talked about it. If you joined us on Thursday when we did our NFL Draft to Watch party, we recapped it a little bit on Friday with the DPD. Listen, Byron Murphy is a guy that we talked about a lot, and I'm just glad they got him. They needed somebody that they could plug in the middle to do damage for this defense. They rank last in almost every statistical category when it comes to the run. They bypassed on that player a year ago, and I get it with Carter and some of the off-the-field issues that he had. And listen, I honestly don't fault him for that. I think there's a lot to be said for that, character off the field. Obviously, you're going to get the guy how they perform on the field, and that's probably the number one thing. But off the field character is a big issue because it's an issue of, can you depend on that person to be there every Sunday for you? Can he be there for meetings? Can he show up and give you everything on the field? And there probably was some question marks whether Carter could do that. Doesn't appear to be any question marks for Byron Murphy. Now, is he a little undersized? Is he not that big tub of goo that we talk about all the time? Yeah, I mean, he's roughly 300 pounds, 297 to be exact, but 300 pounds. But he's all built. The comparison to Aaron Donald, I think, is fair from the standpoint is that he looks like Aaron Donald. Now, none of us we're not going to know until years down the road, can he play like Aaron Donald? And let's just cut to the chase. We're not giving away the ending. He's not going to be Aaron Donald. No one is ever going to be Aaron Donald, ever. Can he have a motor that's similar to Aaron Donald? Yeah. But Aaron Donald, we're talking about one of the most feared, premier defensive linemen in the history of the sport. That's a lot for Byron Murphy to live up to. But body-wise, the way he looks and can move, yeah, I think that it's fair to say that he resembles him a little bit. Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year last year, 8.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. He can stop the run. He can rush the passer from the inside. What I love about it, he grew up being a Seahawks fan. Legion of Boom, Cam Chancellor, he remembers all that whole squad. And so did their third-round pick, Christian Hayes. He talked about that as well, or Haynes, excuse me. Is that it's cool to see these guys that have grown up, 23, 24, or even younger than that, 22, 21, of the impact that group had on a lot of guys growing up, the way that they play. I think sometimes we get in our little bubble here in Seattle and we don't realize the impact that crew, right? Cam Chancellor and Earl and Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch and all those guys. And I'm KJ Wright and I know I'm leaving off like 10 other players. Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, all those guys. Doug Baldwin. I'm going to keep going until I probably name them all. But the impact that those guys had on a lot of these guys that are coming in the draft now, that they looked up to those guys. So it's pretty cool to see. I love the Murphy pick. It's great. They got the second best defensive player in the draft at 16. They didn't trade down. They didn't get Q. Christian Haynes seems like an awesome dude. UConn dude. Played guard there. I guess can slide in and play a little center. We'll see. They got him in the third round. What I like about the theme of this draft, at least for the Seahawks, is a lot of guys that started a lot of games and like consecutive games. And I think we'd all agree there's something to that. When you start, 3-4 seasons, in Haynes' case, 49 games the past 4 seasons. Just things I love. 2-time captain. I know it's not a great team. Jim Moore, of course, was the head coach of that team, spoke glowingly about him. Third-team All-American on teams that just statistically and record-wise just weren't all that good. Did play exclusively at right guard, but has been noted after the draft, may be able to slide inside. And I just love that Scott Huff, the new offensive line coach, was really hands-on in the process of this. And if you caught any video, when they do the phone calls afterwards and guys get drafted, and by the way, there's a few that work, but a lot of these calls with the coaches and the GMs and the players, I think we've jumped it, okay? Because it's a lot like, you ready to work, bro? Yeah, bro. Well, we're excited to get you in here, bro. All right, bro. Man, just excited for you. Are you excited, bro? And then they don't. Coaches and the GMs don't even let the guys answer before they're like, all right, bro, here, I'm going to give you to your head coach. And then the conversation is like, oh, but excited to get you in here, bro. You excited? You fired up? Yeah, bro. All right, bro. All right, here's your offensive line coach. It's just the same questions over and over again. The only one that was really good was the Rams with Verse and Fisk. That was awesome. That was cool. And McVay was like the best one out of all of them, swearing left and right like a sailor. But the love between Fisk and Verse was really cool. I got sidetracked there for a second. But I thought Haynes, when he talked to the media, was great. Described himself as smart and nasty. God, I just want just nasty, physical offensive linemen that want to get after it. And Christian Haynes seems like he kind of fits that role. Just again, Love that he played a bunch. Love that he was a team captain. Love the endorsement from Jim Moore. I think it was a great, great pick. And if you watch and listen and read all the analysis and the breakdown of that pick, a lot of people saying that's just great value of getting him there in the third round. I just really, whether it works out or not, I just love the process and the thinking of we are going with our first two picks, going to address the two position groups that are the weakest on the team. And that was defensive line and it was offensive line. And I love it because that's, I think, what a lot of fans, including myself, have been just begging for. Please address it with talented, physical, nasty, where the motor does not stop players. And it appears on paper they got that with those first two guys. In the fourth round, they go a linebacker, kid out of UTEP, Tyrese Knight. He joins the new core there at linebackers with Dotson and Baker. And this, this is going to be I think the group we're going to probably scrutinize and watch the most here, probably with the Seahawks going into the season. Not a lot of depth there. I'm not sure about the talent. Let's wait and see. How much will Knight play? Probably going to play a lot. Things that jump out to you that should excite you as a Seahawks fan: 84 solo tackles last year, tackling machine. That led all of FBS. Another guy just like Haynes, started 37 games. So he's played a ton of football. Described as just a high football IQ, and again, a motor, sideline to sideline, fast, physical, but smart. And I like that because you get that description there of Christian Haynes, smart and nasty. You get the same thing there with Tyrese Knight. Just a motor that doesn't stop, but also high football IQ. Here's the one I didn't get. This is the pick just for me that I really didn't understand. I get the thinking behind it, but I'm not sure I understand him. A.J. Barner, the tight end. Fourth round seemed a little high for what this guy's going to bring to the table. 1 year at Michigan, was a transfer from Indiana, started only 8 games for this team last year. Appeared, though, in 15 for Michigan. Caught just 22 passes for 249 yards, played special teams under Jay Harbaugh. Harbaugh, of course, now the new special teams coach for the Seahawks. Did not go with his dad there to San Diego. Joins a tight end group that includes Fanton, Pharaoh Brown, who they got. Tyler Mayberry's still there. A guy named Brady Russell, popular in his home. He's there as well. The Lance Zierlein of NFL.com described him as, quote, improving as a run blocker, does not offer much as a pass catcher. Very much sounds like Will Dissly. Fourth round just seems like they could have got this guy later. That even if you wanted to get back in the fifth round, would he have been there in the sixth round? I don't know. And he's known for being a better blocker than he is a pass catcher. But then when you look at him and look at his physical frame, he's not a big guy. He does not look like a blocking tight end at all. So that's the wait and see one. That's just the one, it appears, in my significant breakdown of the NFL draft. Sarcasm. I'm inserting sarcasm there. It's just the one that I didn't quite get. Seemed a little high, a little rich fourth round to grab a guy who's not at this moment real dynamic catching the ball and being a receiving threat at tight end, more of a blocking guy. And maybe that's just what the physical approach they want. He's known as a good run blocker. Could get even better at it. See what Brian Grubb and his offensive mindset will do for him. But I don't know. Kind of felt they needed tight end, and I don't know if there was the need for him there. They got Jack Westover. They signed him to an undrafted rookie free agent deal. So let's wait and kind of see how that one plays out. Lamia, the offensive lineman out of Utah, 6th round pick. I jumped the pick. I'll get back to that. 4-year starter, started 44 straight games. Again, another guy, offensive line, physical, smart, nasty, been described, played right guard for 2 seasons. Also moved over to right tackle for the last 2 seasons. 10 kids in his family, 10 siblings. He's the 8th of 10. Unbelievable. Known as a great run blocker, adequate agility and athleticism. But again, who's versatile. Right guard, right tackle, can play inside, outside. Love it. They needed to just get way better on the interior offensive line. And they added a bunch of guys that can get after it inside. Haynes can play guard, and it looks like center. They got Nick Harrison in the offseason, the former Husky, who, of course, now reunites with Scott Huff. And now they get Lamia, who now can play inside, outside. And an insurance policy there for Abe Lucas, because, again, they get George Fant in the offseason as well. We don't know the health situation there of Abe Lucas, although Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network on our NFL Draft Show on Thursday night when we were doing it live was texting while we were doing the show back and forth with Abe Lucas's agent. Said, listen, offseason surgery went well. He'll be fine. He's ready to go for training camp. So great news. I jumped a pick. 5th round pick, Nehemiah Pritchard, the cornerback out of Auburn, 4-year starter again for the Tigers. Looks the part for sure. One of those guys gets off the bus, you're like, that's a cornerback. But again, the theme that I love, 4-year starter. Lots and lots and lots of playing experience. I think stuff like that, you probably agree, is invaluable. It's just unbelievable to have that much starting experience. In the 6th round, they dipped themselves back in the cornerback market. They get DJ James out of Auburn, spent his first, 3 years at Oregon, then transferred to Auburn. Started 22 of the last 24 games, projected as a starting nickel. Their last pick took a project, obviously, in the tackle. Michael Drell, 7th-round kid out of University of Findlay. It's a private Christian school there in Ohio. Again, another guy who started a bunch. I love this kid's story because this will be a project. His odds of making the team are long. But started 40 straight games to end his college career. The story is great. Didn't even start playing football until he was in the 6th grade, right? Wasn't playing in his 2nd grade, 3rd grade, all that. He was a hooper. So he was playing basketball, gave football a try there in 6th grade, progressively got better. He was a zero-star recruit. So when everyone just beats these recruiting stars in your head, I know they're important, but when they beat it into your head, 4-star, 5-star, like it's the end-all, be-all. And yes, more of those guys get drafted, I understand. Just understand and know that it's not everything. This guy was 0 stars. He was on no one's radar. He just got picked in the NFL draft. Doesn't matter if it's in the 7th round. Got picked. A lot of guys that didn't get picked that were 4-star and 5-star recruits. Okay? You don't think that guy's got a giant boulder chip on his shoulder right now? Overlooked his entire life. People telling him, oh, you're not going to be good enough. You won't be able to make it in the NFL. Held his own in the workouts. Went to the pro day for Ohio State. Held his own. That's where he turned everyone's head. What I love about it too, this is what I also adore about Brennan Jackson. And good for the people that go take offers elsewhere, NIL. Not saying I wouldn't do the same thing. But this kid, Michael Drell, was offered a bunch of offers when people saw him at this D2 school, and he's dominating these guys. And they saw him, bigger schools tried to get him to transfer, NIL money and all that. And he said no. He said no because of his commitment to the University of Findlay, because the University of Findlay said, and what he told reporters was, they committed to me. I wanted to honor my commitment to them. God, I love that. We have lost that so much, not only just in society, the things, but we have lost that in sports, especially with college athletics. That's what I appreciate about Brennan Jackson. You're going to hear that later today as that drops at 10 a.m. as well. Once you're done listening to this, go and hop on over and listen to the Brennan Jackson interview. This guy was offered a ton of money, was Brennan Jackson. A ton. To leave Pullman. But he stayed because he made a commitment to the university of a university made a commitment to him. Not the coaches, the university did, and the community did. I, for one, just have a soft spot in my heart for guys like that. So really cool there, Michael Drell. All right, M's and Braves will start up a series tonight. The return of Jarred Kelenic. We'll get into that. Series against Arizona. I'm going to tell you, it's amazing that they won 2 out of 3 against Arizona. And it's amazing this run they've been on. Because they're on this run because they are getting elite starting pitching. Like starting pitching that is just ridiculous. I mean, hell, they could have swept the Diamondbacks with really no offense whatsoever. Their pitchers held these guys to 5 runs total in this series. 5. they were averaging almost 6 runs a game coming into the series, which was, I think, number 1 in baseball. That's just amazing. You go back and look at these games. Yesterday, they have been winning games when they've been getting 5 hits, which is remarkable. And it didn't work out yesterday. They had 5 hits. They lost 3-2. The day before, they had 4 hits. They won 3-1. They had another. This is the series against Arizona. 6-1 they win. They had 5 hits. So they took 2 out of 3 from Arizona with 14 hits and 12 runs in the series. That's hilarious. It's hilarious that in this day and age of just offense in all sports that you can win a series like that. But it's a trend that has continued for them here recently in this stretch of games. Texas, they won a game 4-3 with 5 hits. But again, I'm going to highlight a Cubs game in which they lost 3-2. They had 5 hits. So their margin of error is very thin. They still are not good offensively. Jerry DiPoto was on with Jim Bowden and Jim Duquette. Again, Jim Duquette's episode will be released today at 1 o'clock on their Sirius XM baseball show, MLB Network Radio on Sundays, and said, hey, they were talking about the offensive turnaround. Yeah, it's turned around to a degree, but it's still not good. You're going to see a matchup between the Braves and the M's where 2 offenses are in stark contrast of each other. Okay, the Mariners, 30th in strikeouts. The Braves are number 1 least amount. Batting average, or excuse me, they're 12th in strikeouts. Batting average at 27th. Okay, the Mariners and on-base percentage are 26. Slugging percentage 24th. OPS 25th. What has saved this offense, again, so they say the offense is improved. It's not improved with the metric that they thought it was going to be improved on. They're not stringing a bunch of hits together and drawing walks and doing all that and getting extra base hits, which is what they envisioned, what they built. They're winning games because of the long ball again, because they're 14th in baseball in home runs. That's why they're winning. It's the home run, solo shots, maybe 2-run shot every now and again. Braves 3rd in on-base percentage. They're 2nd in slugging. They're number 1 in OPS. They're 14th in home runs, number 1 in batting average. Pitching-wise, the Braves pitching staff will come in 9th with the ERA, 11th in batting average. The Mariners, again, these pitchers have just been awesome. All of them. Miller, Gilbert, Kirby was great on Saturday. Hancock has shown some flashes. Castillo has turned it around. 3rd in ERA with 3.10, 2nd in batting average. They're at 2.12. M starters have allowed 17 earned runs in their last 16 starts. It's just phenomenal. The reception for Jarred Kelenic tonight, or when this series starts as we record this on Monday, I don't know. I'm curious. Leave a comment below. You going to boo him or cheer him? I will say this. I don't know why you would boo him. You didn't like how his temper tantrum when he broke his foot when he hit the Gatorade bucket. I mean, I don't think he wanted to be traded. I didn't want him to be traded. I want him to stay here. He was still young enough to give this guy more time. I still contend that he will ultimately just be that extra outfielder, platoon guy for his career, which is again okay. It's not okay for where he was drafted and selected and projected to be, but I think it's okay to carve out a 15+ year career in that role. He's been better this year. 305, 369, 373, 742 slash. No home runs, only was driven in 4. He's a platoon player. He's exclusively against right-handers. So he will play in every game this series because he got Miller, Castillo, and Hancock. Miller and Max Fried tonight. Max Fried's been pretty okay. 2-0 with a 4.97 ERA. Miller has been sensational. Injury front, we knew about J.P. Crawford, out for several weeks. Matt Brash just kind of felt that this was going to be the news. And Divish and I, which Divish will be on Wednesday and Fridays, I mean, we even talked about it. We just felt that it was inevitable that this was going to happen for Matt Brash, that he would find himself having to go undergo surgery. Nothing official yet. He's going to go see the doctor in Dallas who looked at him before, who said rehab was the option, not surgery. But I think we all know where this is going to go. And this is probably going to go with him going under the knife. Brian Wu is getting closer. That's good. Looked good in his rehab start there in Tacoma. One more rehab start. Gonna try to get him up. They say at about to 85 pitches. Then reevaluated. Canzone still several weeks away from baseball activities. Sam Haggerty is going to be back with the team. Informed yesterday he's going to be back called up. That means Jonathan Clase is going back down to Tacoma. And Clase, showed some good plays every now and again, but again, it was just not consistent enough to stay up here. So Sam Haggerty will be back. And can we quickly just give a shout out to the story? There's been, for me, this baseball season early on for the Mariners, there's been two great stories. Gabe Spire out of the bullpen, phenomenal. And Josh Rojas at third. Josh Rojas has been a welcome sight this year. He's played hard. I love the energy he plays with, the passion he plays with. He's got great at-bats. He shows a lot of pop in that leadoff role, right? 4 games there. His 15 at-bats, got 2 home runs, a triple in 267. He's slugging 800 in that role. And his defense at third has been better. It's improving. He's working every day there with Perry Hill. Just love it. Love what Josh Rojas has given to the team this year. Over to the NBA real quick. The Ant-Man last night as the T-Wolves finish off the Suns. Just disappointing Suns. This is why you can spend a bunch of money on guys. It's not always, it doesn't always work. If I can spit it out. And it didn't work out for the Suns. High-priced players with Booker, Durant. They've got no draft picks, by the way, and Brady Beal, and they fell flat on their face. Got swept by the Timberwolves, who are to me, the most fun team, besides that other team that I will not mention in the Western Conference, most fun team to watch, because they have, for me right now, the most exciting player in the NBA, the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, and he is just a freak. He had another dunk last night that was just, Jordan-like, but it's like watching him dunk is like Jordan and Dominique Wilkins together. So they sweep the Suns. Their head coach got banged up in that game. God, he busts his knee in that game. God, that was awful to watch. But I chatted on the Iconic Sonics podcast, which you can find on Iconic Sonics podcast platform with George Carl, and we were previewing the NBA playoffs a few weeks ago. And we talked about how Minnesota, for us, and I had mentioned them, this is kind of the most exciting team and fun team to watch in the playoffs. And Anthony Edwards, because of where he plays, NBA fans know him, but do the general sports fan know him? He's starting to put himself on the map, and it's going to get even better as they go into the second round and they continue to move on to the playoffs. You are going to see a lot more of this guy, and he has been out of control good. Real quickly on the 10-year-old, the vampire, and this, I'm going to shed a little bit of a tear. He's still on suspension for violating team rules. Suspension is lifted Wednesday for violating team rules. He's been great. He has picked up a new sport. Of course, we've got the new putting green in the lawn. Big thanks, Synthetic Turf Northwest. You guys are the best for putting in that beautiful 3-hole putting green. He's been putting left and right every day because he's on suspension, right? He's been suspended, so he can't go play Fortnite. No more bros from the basement. So he's been out there putting every day. And then Friday night, didn't even ask him. He just says, hey, Dad, knocks on the door. Hey, we go to the driving range. I was like, you're damn right we can, buddy. Let's hit the driving range. So we spent a great Friday night hitting the driving range, just crushing balls, and just sat back and watched him. Didn't talk to him. No. Just all I would say is just swing harder. Swing as fast as you can, hit the ball. But no instruction. Just, I don't want to overwhelm him with just, you hit the ball and have fun. We had a great time there at the Inter Bay Golf Complex there and in the Inter Bay neighborhood. And he was just great. God, I think every father, whether it's a daughter or son, if you love golf, you kind of want your kids to pick it up because you want to play with them as you get older. So I hope he picked my daughter. No, she's not going to do it. Although I'd love for her to come out. But if he please just pick it up. What's advice for anybody that's had a kid that's gotten into golf? Just don't overwhelm them, right? That I would assume. No instruction. Just let them have fun because it is the most frustrating sport in the world. But it was great. By the way, Inter Bay, if you are a connoisseur of hot dogs, that place has got the best damn hot dog in the world. There is no better hot dog in this area than the hot dog at Inter Bay. Lastly, We need a ruling from the court here on this one. Leave comments below. I saw something. I went into an establishment. I'm not going to name the business. It doesn't affect them, but I'm just not going to name them. I don't want to embarrass them. And I saw a guy he was paying for something, and he was taking forever up there to pay for it. And he's got his cat. He brought his cat with him. And he's got his cat on a leash. Is that a thing here? I haven't seen that. Is that a thing? Is that a Seattle thing? Is that a new thing everywhere? Are we putting cats on leashes now and walking around like they're dogs? They're not a dog. Now, we have a cat, Junie cat. She's around here somewhere. She comes up, eats, goes back and hides, plays with the dogs. She's not a dog. I would never put her on a leash. I would never take her out, walk around the neighborhood. This guy's got her on a leash, bringing her into the business and talking to the guy, here's my cat, and explaining the story. No one cares about Mincy the cat. And then leaves and walks out and has the cat on a leash and is walking the cat out. Strange? No, not strange. Where do we put cat people? Where do we rank cat people? Because there is a different, and I'm both a little bit here. There is dog people, and then there are cat people. But I think there is the cat people. There's another special level of kind of cat person you go to when you now take your feline outside of the home and then put that feline on a leash. To me, cat owners who put their cats on a leash and take them out in public, really, parents, you'll know this. Parents with kids, you'll know this. And even if you don't have kids, you've seen this before. Are on the same line as those parents who take their kids out in public and they put them on that backpack leash. They're not pets, guys. It's your kid. You don't need to have little Susie on a leash. So parents that put their kids on a leash and then cat owners with a leash of the pet, kind of are the same. If I have the sound effect for the barge, I think barge-worthy. Yay or nay, barge-worthy. All right, that's it for the DPD, the Daily Puck Drop. Hope you enjoyed every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. It drops. Coming up today on Monday. As this is being dropped at the same time, you can go listen to my interview with Brennan Jackson, Washington State defensive end, who was drafted by the Rams in the 5th round. Great chat. His love for Pullman, his excitement to play at home because he's from the Los Angeles area to play with the Rams, his impact that his mother's had on him, his sacrifices that he's had to give up and for himself to put himself in a position to be an NFL player. It's a great interview. I think you're going to come away, listen to it, very inspired by a young man. And the future of guys like Brennan Jackson, we're in good hands with people like Brennan Jackson. Coming up later at 1 o'clock, as it always drops, all of our other interviews, regular guest drop at 1 o'clock. Jim Duquette, Major League Baseball Network Radio, Sirius XM. He sat down with Jerry DiPoto on Sunday, had an interview on his show. We'll get his thoughts on that. Jackson Holiday being sent down. Aaron Judge of the Yankees getting away by obstructing a double play, breaking it up. No one has a problem with it. And it went to replay. We'll talk about that. Bill Kruger on the Mariners and the offense, but the pitching. We'll talk a lot of pitching with Bill Kruger. Those episodes dropping at 1 o'clock today. Again, please rate, like, subscribe, leave comments below. It all helps on all of the platforms. Get this question a lot from people. Hey, what platform is the best for you that gets the most impact? They're all the same. So whether you watch it on YouTube, great. Please leave comments. Please subscribe to it. Please pass it on to your family and friends. But Apple, Spotify, wherever the best is for you. And leave me a comment. Send me a note at pucksports.com. They're up on the website. If there's other platforms you want added to it. I mean, there's a lot of people that maybe don't listen just to, Apple or Spotify or Amazon Music. We are on YouTube Music there as well. So check out all the content, all the different platforms. We'll talk to you soon. As always, we promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!